So, how did I came to work as a doctor in Switzerland? That's an interesting question, and it's also a long story. Um, why did I want to become a doctor in the first place? Actually, the truth is, when I was in high school, I kind of I was thinking about what I was wanting to do, and I just wanted a job which gave me a financial security. I wanted to be sure that whatever I do, I always am going to have work. I'm not going to have trouble finding a job, and I was always afraid of not having the money that I needed to do my own stuff. So after I got admitted to med school, the first thing one of the first things I heard was I saw an article in the newspaper about the cleaning lady from the hospital, which was making more than a resident doctor in Romania at the time in 2007. So that was about a resident was making kind of like 300 euros. And immediately after I read that, I said, that's not for me. I'm not working for 300 euros for nobody. So the time went on, and at some point I said I'm gonna go to Germany after I finished studies, but I didn't start learning the language until my sixth year. Actually, just before my sixth year, I started learning German, and it was difficult at the time. I had colleagues that were already studying German since their third year of university and still having trouble really speaking the language. I was really scared I was not going to make it. Learning the language in the year that I still had at my disposition. So I started with my girlfriend, with Irina, and Irina is, by the way, made a video about the specifics of getting a job as a doctor in Switzerland, all the specific steps that you have to go through, all the forms that you have to fill out. I'm gonna link her video to my video if you are interested in that information. So I started learning German, and in about exactly 9 months after I started learning German, I received my B2 certificate, and Irina as well, which was pretty fast and pretty amazing. We were both surprised, and we also needed the B2 certificate to be able to work in Switzerland. Then how did we got the idea to come to Switzerland? At some point my German teacher told me, well, why don't we go to Switzerland? And I was like, in Switzerland, like, do the people there speak German? I had no idea. And she said, yeah, they speak German. And of course they speak German, but that's not their mother language. They have their own kind of German, which is pretty difficult. But at the time I said, okay, if they speak German, I'll give it a shot. And I was looking at the kind of money that they make, and it was by far one of the best countries you could when you consider the amount of money that you make per year. It was almost twice as good as in Germany. So that was enough reason for me to at least give it a try. And then we came to Switzerland at the end of November, 30th of November. It was a blazing snowstorm, the worst I've ever seen in my life. We came with all our stuff in a small Ford Fiesta, packed full of all our things. You literally didn't have any space left in the entire car. We had stuff all over the place. And with I just had 2 winter tires. And with that car we drove practically all across Switzerland. And we started work as a practice as students in hospitals. And it's interesting that in Switzerland you are actually paid for this kind of work. When you are doing practice, you receive some money, which is really helpful, especially because life in Switzerland is very expensive, and we did welcome that. And I worked for about 3 months in one rehabilitation clinic. Irina jumped from one hospital to the other. She eventually managed to secure a job in Canton, in the hospital of Olten, as an orthopedic resident doctor, which was amazing. I myself, I met some people. I made a good friend in Switzerland which worked as a psychiatrist, and he recommended me to a psychiatry clinic where I ended up working for 2 years. And I honestly thought it would be harder than it was. It was actually easy. The most important thing was to speak the language. That is the most important thing, that your like level of German is at least a B2. You have to be at least a B2 in order to get a job here. It's not as easy as in Germany, where, well, they do require from you a B2 certificate, but speaking wise, maybe you can, with a lower level of German, you can still get a job. But in Switzerland they're more picky because there are a lot more candidates. They can choose. They have far more options than they do in Germany. And in Germany they just need far more doctors. And in Switzerland they say, once you're in the system, then it's easy. Once you get your first workplace, you get into your first hospital, you work there for a year, then it's far easier to get your next job, because the people already know you, they trust your experience, your German is better, they know you have already worked in Switzerland, and you were accepted at your job place, you did your job, and you were respected from your primary doctors, by your primary doctors. So it's not as hard as it seems. For me, it was quite a ride. I enjoyed every moment of it. I learned a lot here. Also, the quality of life in Switzerland is amazing. You have a lot of options. You can go a lot of places. The mountains are right in my backyard. I can't express how thankful I am for getting this experience and being able to work here. Now I changed jobs. I'm working in a paraplegic clinic for paraplegics and tetraplegic patients. It's a whole new experience and I like it. Again, if you are interested in the specifics of how to become a doctor in Switzerland, I urge you to check out my girlfriend's channel. She will be posting a series of videos for resident doctors, but also for students, how you can come and do practice in Switzerland, and thereby gain experience in Switzerland and learn the language better. Everything is very useful if you are considering immigrating here and starting your life here. And for us, it's really, we would recommend Switzerland. It's a very good place, and it's very welcoming to foreigners. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Give some feedback. I await your comments. I'm very glad to receive any kind of feedback from you guys. Also, thank you guys a lot for tuning in and watching this episode. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.